What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, and I'm back. Yes, indeed. I'm Brian Redmond, and this is the Relationship Rehab. And on tonight, yes, as they say in the church, on tonight, we have a really good show for you. It is what it is, man. But thank God for Rumble. That's all I can say, man. And if you have not, please go subscribe to my Rumble, because this here ain't promised. And also, subscribe to the Guru and the Whore over on Rumble too. Tommy and I about to start doing our show again. Yeah. When are we as black folks? Everybody talk about when black community gonna ever come together. When black folks gonna ever get it right. Will black folks ever be able to overcome? Oh, he been saying that shit for 40 years since I've been around. I think it needs to be a little bit more basic than that. I know this may be a shocker. But when are we as black folks just gonna treat each other with respect? When are we gonna treat each other with respect? How do I better myself? It's by doing the work myself. I need to work on myself by changing myself. How do I better my people? I need to change the thought process and the thought patterns of our people. Period. That's just what it is. Period. That's just what it is. I don't think that the social engineers were able to see it this far, but the idea and the premise to say, hey, if we can get the main decision maker and the leader out of the home, then we as the government can essentially control this group of people. And that's just something that has been factual with just society. When the man is not in charge of the home, when the man is not present in the home, then it leaves the family vulnerable. It just does. And so I believe that was done purposely for a position of control. What racist system is holding back the 3 black mayors? 3 black mayors. They don't fucking care. They let these niggas run over the streets. They let these niggas. I'm just saying. What system is holding back the mayor of Chicago? What racist system is holding back the mayor of New York? You tell me. Fill me in. Let me know what racist system got these mayors held back. Ain't none. And let me wrap up with this, and I'm going to my cigar. Thank you. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, and I'm back. Yes, indeed. I'm Brian Redmond, and this is the Relationship Rehab. And on tonight, yes, as they say in the church, on tonight, we have a really good show for you. It is what it is, man. But thank God for Rumble. That's all I can say, man. And if you have not, please go subscribe to my Rumble, because this here ain't promised. And also, subscribe to the Guru and the Whore over on Rumble too. Tommy and I about to start doing our show again. Yeah. When are we as black folks? Everybody talk about when black community gonna ever come together. When black folks gonna ever get it right. Will black folks ever be able to overcome? Oh, he been saying that shit for 40 years since I've been around. I think it needs to be a little bit more basic than that. I know this may be a shocker. But when are we as black folks just gonna treat each other with respect? When are we gonna treat each other with respect? How do I better myself? It's by doing the work myself. I need to work on myself. By changing myself. How do I better my people? I need to change the thought process and the thought patterns of our people. Period. That's just what it is. Period. That's just what it is. I don't think that the social engineers were able to see it this far, but the idea and the premise to say, hey, if we can get the main decision maker and the leader out of the home, then we as the government can essentially control this group of people. And that's just something that has been factual with just society. When the man is not in charge of the home, when the man is not present in the home, then it leaves the family vulnerable. It just does. And so I believe that was done purposely for a position of control. What racist system is holding back the 3 black mayors? 3 black mayors. They don't fucking care. They let these niggas run over the streets. They let these niggas. I'm just saying. What system is holding back the mayor of Chicago? What racist system is holding back the mayor of New York? You tell me. Fill me in. Let me know what racist system got these mayors held back. Ain't none. And let me end wrap up with this, and I'm going to throw my big out. Thanks. I am your love-making queen. Ain't no man or woman come between. Yeah, what's going on, y'all? Listen to the little R. Kelly. Free R. Kelly, goddammit. Yes, indeed. You're the root to my sleeve. I'ma bet you'll leave the apple carrying my seed for always a summer breeze. That's why I ain't gonna let the devil steal my joy from me, cause I done touched a dream. Oh, free R. Kelly, man. Look here. Free R. Kelly, goddammit. If we can have no bail in courts and we can put all these niggas on house arrest, at least put this nigga on house arrest. Put R. Kelly on house arrest. Let's start there. Then we can work on this case. We need to get the lawyers that represented Trump or Young Thug. We need to get them to look at R. Kelly's case and do an appeal, goddammit. Free R. Kelly. But what's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Brian Remedy. Yes, we are back for yet another show, and I am so excited on tonight. Yes, that's right, on tonight, to bring to you another wonderful breakdown. Yes, I am. I feel good. I look good. and I sound good. So therefore, I am good. Yeah. I like that. I think I'm gonna use that. I look good. I feel good. I smell good. Hey, I must be good. All right. Let me get these glasses on so I can see what I'm saying. As Easy E would say. Man, rest in peace, Easy E. God dog. All right, y'all. So, without further ado, get my 5 minutes of monologue here. Just talk about a little something else before we get into the show. I want to know, and I got a question for y'all. And y'all can just put it in the chat and let me know what y'all thoughts are. Does it really matter if Kamala Harris is black, but you're black? That's what I want to know. Does it really matter if Kamala Harris is black? I'm just saying, does it really matter? You know, once a great songwriter in Chicago wrote a song by the name of Mac Lovin Sr. said, it doesn't really matter what the color is, not at all. But rest in peace, Mac. But I'm just saying, I want to know if it really matters. Does her being black, not being black, her being Indian, Jamaican, Samoan, Octoroon, her being Korean, Southeast Asian on her mother's side, twice removed by her great granddaddy, does that really matter? Miriam said it doesn't matter. She still sucks. Right. He said, Hindu hustler Harris. UFO, you ain't shit. Hindu Harris. Does it really matter? And I guess here's my position on it. Do words matter? Yes. However, I don't think that her being black, biracial, half black, quarterback, quarter pounder, whatever it is, I don't think that is really a point of contention. I just think that the problem with it is, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong or not, is that she's trying to leverage and obtain votes by saying she's black. And I personally think that that's an insult to black people, to where someone who has she's never really denied being black and just saying, I'm not black. She's never really touted about being black. She's never really been pro-black, this and we're black. She's been under the guise of woman of color, and she has consistently acknowledged her Middle Eastern ties. She's also, I guess, insulting us by trying to now use that as a point to say, y'all need to get behind me, black community. Calling all blacks. Yes, we need all blacks to the voting booth to vote for Kamala Harris because she is a black woman and she is running for president. That's pretty much what it seems like to me, is that she's trying to call on the black vote by leveraging her blackness. And I think that that's an insult to black people. And to me, it's an insult and a bit of a disrespect to her half of blackness. Because her Jamaican, super light-skinned, we used to own slaves daddy ain't over here in the States talking about he a nigga. And that's essentially the vote she's trying to garner. She's trying to get the nigga vote. And that's the difference. She ain't just saying she's black. She's trying to get all of the African Americans, aka the niggas in America, currently vote. And she has never been one to be in, not necessarily support of, but she's never been one to champion that. She ain't never been one to be like, I'm a sister and I'm a black woman and you ain't gonna talk to no black woman like that. She's never been that. The typical run-of-the-mill black woman in America and the characteristics of your typical black woman in America, she ain't been on none of that. She's never been one to say that, talk about that, be that. And I think that that's what people are contesting when they're talking about her blackness. He said, MC Gusto, I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blinkity, blinkity, and I'm black, y'all. Blackity, blackity, I'm black, y'all. But that's just what it is. It's like, you have to take that into account. It's just like now, and I think somebody said this, I saw this on some post. It's like, if y'all are quick to say now, after 49 number one hits, after being one of the hottest rappers ever, and definitely one of the top 5 hottest rappers in this past decade, now y'all saying Drake ain't like us. Now y'all trying to say Drake ain't black. I would love to know what the fuck Drake did to not be black no more. Cause he been a nigga since I've known of him. Since the nigga was in Young Money. I mean, how much? How blacker can you get? It don't get no blacker than Young Money. How the fuck can you be a white person in Young Money? Ain't gonna happen. It's just too much. You can't do it. It's too much niggotry going on in Young Money and on Cash Money Records for you to be a white boy in Young Money. It's not possible. It's just not possible. So with that being said, I don't know if it's a problem of her ethnic background. I think it's more of a problem of her trying to call on black folks by saying, shit, I'm black. Y'all got to vote for me. She want to play the Obama card. My man Dion Prime said, yes, it matters because it matters to the grand scheme that further proves that the Democrats use race to divide us and be lying when they present their case. And my thing is this is the Democrat playbook side of this. They keep bringing this up because it keeps us from talking about the real shit, which is like her policy, her plan, 2 things we have yet to hear a motherfucking word about since she's been the magical nominee that has appeared out of nowhere with the flick of a magic wand. Expelliarmus! There's Kamala Harris. So I think that's the Democrat side of it. I like the fact that the conservative or Republican side of it has called it out. And I think it's not a big thing, but I definitely think it's something to point out. Because if niggas is voting for her just because there's a lot of stupid niggas out there, let's acknowledge that. It's a lot of stupid people, period. But the fact that people are willing to vote for her because she's black is America. If you're going to do that, at least do it because that's the truth. Because that's just like you saying today, I'm going to vote for Bill Clinton because he black. And you know he ain't. Just saying. That's just what it is. And isn't it something how the black people that are so-called, that have been a part of the presidency or presidential administration, they black side ain't never from here. Like, ain't no black person or half black person got a daddy that's from 83rd National, 79th in Exchange, 122nd and Normal. We have not had any person that's in a high political office that is half black who parent, whichever one it is, ain't from the real motherfucking hood. Like, I'm from 83rd and motherfucking Jeffrey, nigga. Nobody's ever that black. It's always, oh, my father's from Cameroon. His name is Lionel Joseph from the High Selassie Council. Remember, we had big fun there. The boogity, 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 ha. The boogity, 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 ha. Right. Ain't nobody have black relative from 103rd and Hosset. Went to Marcus Garvey. Ain't nobody's half black parent. Ain't nobody who's half black parent been from Princeton Park, Argyle Gardens, Stateway Gardens. They're just never really from the black people in our neighborhoods in our country. They're always from some foreign island somewhere. Oh yes, my father grew up in he was from St. Thomas. His name was Dick Murray. I know a man named Dick Murray. Y'all don't know nothing about Dick Murray. California for Dick. In Atlanta for Dick. New York City in St. Thomas. She find Dick. She find Dick. Dick. Right. The icky. Hell icky. Icky. You ain't from the hell icky homes down on 22nd. Where are these real niggas at with these half-breed children? Like, prime example. Motherfucker Patrick Mahomes' daddy, real nigga. Real nigga. He got paperwork and everything. Nigga got a pedigree. That's a real nigga who just did something with himself, made something of himself, got with a good white woman to help him raise a kid up so that the kid would have some goddamn sense, but is still a nigga. And that's what Patrick Mahomes is. So it's like, we don't have none of those that's high up in politics. Just saying. So it's like, it's not really a big deal for the whole, how black is you? It's the fact that she's trying to call on black folks when you really ain't that. She didn't grow up in the hood. She didn't grow up around niggas. And people say, she went to an HBCU. Let me tell you something. She went to Howard University, whatever the case may be. That ain't the hood. Them is prominent niggas. Them is niggas that come from something. I mean, there's a small percentage, about maybe less than 8% of the niggas that go to Howard are niggas. Like, yeah, nigga, I just, if it was either this or jail. If I wasn't there Howard, nigga, I'd be selling this rock. No. Them niggas come from good families. Mama and daddy is in the home. They was raised right, got a little money. They can afford to send their kid with the help of a scholarship to this prestigious HBCU. We can spend 80 grand on this little nigga because we got it. Both our parents, but both of motherfucking parents, both of us worked at GM for 27 years. House was paid for 20 years ago. We just had money like that growing up in Detroit. So it's like, that's a difference. Just because you went to a HBCU don't make you black. I know plenty of niggas that went to HBCUs and are some of the whitest black people I've ever met. That's the truth.
Some of the most prim and proper white folks I've ever met. I went and I hung out up at Howard for a couple of homecoming or two, and I've been around some of these prominent bourgeoisie niggas. I was from the hood. I couldn't go to Howard even if I wanted to, goddammit. I couldn't. So I know what kind of people be up at these goddamn schools. But it is what it is. I just think that people need to stay vigilant and really focus on what she's actually talking about. Because I think if you look at that and if people really take a look and see if she could actually be a president, you would see that she's literally not capable of this job. She cannot articulate herself. She literally speaks in circles about anything. Not saying, hey, if you ask her a question about nuclear physics, she gonna fumble. Nope. You ask that bitch who she was listening, what music she was listening to in college, and the bitch gonna say, I was listening to Tupac and Biggie and Snoop. Yep, definitely Snoop. But bitch, this was in 87 when you was in college. And nobody wants to acknowledge that part. Like, you can talk about all of this other shit, but the shit she actually is lying about or the shit that she actually never answers, we never bring that up. So, and I think that that's the part that black folks need to really focus on. He said, "So completely dick in Fernwood Park," and I would still say she ain't black. It's like she's just not one of the. You can just say she half black if you want, but she's not black as in the way that black folks use black. What the hell does that even mean, Joe Champion? Thank you. All right. But that's just my point. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into the show and let's talk about a little organization called the National Association of Black Journalists. He says, wait, if they're qualified to be an authentic nigga, does that mean that white Brits from Bath, South Coast, from both South Coasts are real niggas? Like Thomas Sowell, I guess he's kind of trying to say. It's like, no, and that's my thing. It's not saying that you ain't black. It's just saying that, well, you kind of not. You kind of not. It's like, this is like, Calvin said, Brian, define what is black to us. So I can do that. So here's what we're saying. When you say in America, when you say that you're black, that means that you are from the United States. You are from, there's no, oh, my daddy was Caribbean and my mama was Caribbean. You're not saying that. Even though that could be true, you could be from Trinidad or some shit like that. And you would be accepted into the black culture. Just like whites are accepted into black culture. Just like Hispanics are accepted into black culture. I grew up around a Mexican. Shout out to my boy Roberto, who's probably the only Mexican that can call me nigga. That's how tight we was in the hood. Just saying. And I think Berto got a black wife. I'm just saying. That's just what it is, because he's not only just in the community, he's totally submerged and immersed into the culture. So if you're trying to claim that part, then that's what we mean by saying, hey, if you say I'm black, then you're saying that not only are you black by definition of your pigmentation and your heritage, but when it comes to things like black votes and being a part of the black community, like how niggas use the stupid term of saying, you ain't invited to the cookout. They're saying that stupid shit, but it's a thing of just saying you are completely immersed into the black culture. And that's the thing that she's trying to say she is when it comes to getting the black vote. And that would be okay if that was the truth. She ain't never claimed being black in her whole ascension to where she is today. That's my thing. And I think that's the thing as far as just the definition as it relates to the election, as it relates to being a politician, as it relates to that, she is not what you would consider being black. Technicality, you could say that, but she has even defined herself as being Indian and Jamaican. Niggas don't do that. We say we black, but you're black. That's just what that is. So as far as just the definition of that, it's not necessarily, oh, this is the definition to show you if you're black or this, or even talking about foundational black African Americans, whatever, FBA, all that to the side as it relates to politics. For someone to say that as far as black folks voting for them, which is what they're saying, just like that, what Tommy called a demolition man, talking about Joy Reid saying, this is, stratospheric that Kamala Harris, a black woman, is running for president. It's like saying that and then saying that, hey, we got to vote for her because she's black. That's why people are calling timeout bullshit. Case in point, if it was Michelle Obama that was running for president, we wouldn't have this conversation. This would not even be a topic of discussion. This would not even be a point of contention. We wouldn't even have this discussion. It would be literally a non-factor. It would be nothing that would ever even be brought up. Michelle Obama is, as far as politics and all that shit is concerned, she's black, and there is no contesting it. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. She's black. And that's just because of where she's from and what she has claimed since day one. You ain't never heard Michelle Obama talk about, I got Indian in my family, like a lot of niggas like to do. That's just what it is. And just as much as she has not said that she is not black, is just as much as her saying that she is black, is just as much as her saying that she's not. Because she ain't been claiming the shit since day one, that's why people are contesting it now. Because she didn't talk about every other part of her ethnic background, but the fact that she's just simply a black woman. And if you wanted to get the vote of black people, you should have just came out and said, you a black woman, or you would get their vote by your policies and your agenda. But she can't do that because she doesn't have one. She doesn't have one. It's not about her policies. It's not about her plan. It's not about that. She ain't talking about that because she ain't got one. And whatever she does talk about, it's fucking just a bunch of stupid shit that she's really not answering the shit. So that's why it's a point of contention now, because she ain't never claimed that. And all the while, all she could have been is just been like, well, my mother is Hindu, but I'm black. If you wanted that side of the vote, if you wanted that to be a part of your base, but she didn't, because she still wanted white folks to vote for her. And when she was AG, district attorney and all that shit, lead prosecuting attorney for San Francisco, she wasn't trying to claim that. When she was locking niggas up and keeping them past their time and all that shit, she wasn't trying to claim. She was trying to show that she was everything but that. That's just what it is. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. Black is an American thing, a group of people in America and don't have history to connect them to a country of the African continent. Right. I get that. Let's see what my boy Preem said. I'm surprised she ain't tried the hot sauce in the purse. Right. Did y'all see it? I think it was today or it was yesterday. This bitch went into a record store with a camera crew to show what record she bought. And guess what kind of music she bought? Think it was country and western? It was black music. Oh, so I guess she black now because she done went and brought peaches and herb. She done went into the record store. And she done bought the Gap band. So this bitch got to be black now. She went into the record store. She brought some vintage James Brown. Well, she got to be black. You got to be black now. That's just it. That's just it. But right. So that's just what it is, man. I mean, when you look at all of the stuff that she's doing, it's not, I mean, having these celebrities and stuff like that vouching for her, to people that actually have a brain and think for themselves, it's literally just like, come on, you ain't got to do. If you was really black, you wouldn't have to do all that. The bitch would be like, I tell you what, here's what I would do if somebody told me that I wasn't black. I'd be like, look, I can prove to you that I know for a fact, without a doubt, that I'm black. And it would be like, how, Mr. Redmond, can you prove that you are a black man? And all I would say is to everyone in Black America here in the United States, the way I know that I am black, I ain't never reneged in a game of spades. That's it. And niggas across the world would be like, that nigga black. A nigga if I tell you I ain't never reneged, what would you say? I'm just saying, if I want to tell you, want me to prove to you I'm black, I tell you I ain't never reneged. I done ran a Boston. And I done hit a blind 8. Nigga, shut the fuck up. This nigga black. You want it. And see, this is the kind of shit where if Kamala Harris is willing to pay me $200,000-$300,000 to be a part of her campaign, that's how I could get her validated. Black card stamp. There it is. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. I bet Kamala, what you gonna do is you gonna go live, get on your Instagram or your Twitter, and say, look, I've been hearing a lot of people with my name in their mouth saying that I ain't black. Well, this is for any and everybody, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whoever, that is contesting I'm black. Let me prove to you that I am. All right? I got 3 things that's going to prove to you that I am black. Black, black, black. I ain't never reneged. I done ran a Boston and I done hit a blind 8. There it is. And motherfuckers would be like, yeah, bro, she black, bro. And shit you, because the motherfuckers who don't know what that mean and what that is, them the motherfuckers that can't say shit. And the people that do, they know that's only nigga shit. That's nigga exclusive shit right there. Nigga talk about he ran a Boston. Nigga to talk about he done hit that blind 8, nigga. I ain't never been scared to run a blind 8. Let's go. That's just what it is. All right, enough. Let me go ahead and get to the show.
A conversation with former President Donald Trump. We ask that the professionalism that we all bring to our newsrooms and workplaces every day is the same professionalism that is maintained in this arena.
This lets you know that the fact that has to be said, that this is some nigga shit. This is that introduction right there, and that statement that has to be made lets you know instantly that you are now about to witness nigga shit. The fact that they had to say this in this type of setting, and the fact that you know that you have the 45th fucking president coming to this event which I don't think any other president have been to this motherfucker. Maybe Obama, but this ain't no usual stop for the president. But the fact that you have the 45th president coming here to speak and y'all gotta announce this shit, this lets you know it's some powerful niggatry going on here.
Please welcome to the stage ABC News senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott. Semaphore political reporter Kadia Goba. And anchor of the Faulkner Focus and co-host of Outnumbered on Fox News.
Wait, what's her name? I want to hear this first chick name.
ABC News senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott.
Rachel Scott, okay. I thought it was him. My man Calvin said, I got a question.
And
if you're a black
of
man
the Faulkner Focus
and
and co-host of Outnumbered on Fox News, Harris Faulkner.
Of the culture of black, you should be a part of black culture. Be concerned about the issues, but your girl ain't. Look, I will say this. That's a great question, Calvin. And you paid $10. My nigga. Appreciate you. But here's my thing. Me personally, I don't believe that who I choose to sleep with, who I choose to share my life with, and who I choose to mate with, or as black folks say, who I decide to fuck. I think that has nothing to do with your commitment level to black culture, to the black cause, all of that. Your romantic relationship is just that, your romantic relationship. Same thing with homosexuality. I don't give a fuck as to who you sleep with at night. Whether you go lay down with a nigga, whether you go lay down with, it don't matter to me. Because that has nothing to do with what you do for your job, what you do for your life work, your community service, any of that. Because in my opinion, it's all about your morals, your values, your integrity. It's those things that matter, that I believe mean more than just you saying, I got to have a black wife if I'm going to be about black culture. I got to have a black husband if I'm going to be about black culture. Why can't you not be both? That's just how I look at that. Because to say that who a person decides to sleep with, who a person decides to marry, and whatever else you want to attach onto that, to say that determines what they do, then that would say, well, you a better policeman in a black community if you married to a black woman. What does me being married to a black woman have to do with me being a policeman and how well I perform my duties as a policeman? He said, let Umar tell it, it's going down, right? So that's my thing. But your girl, it's like, that's my girl. That has nothing to do. That's like if Martin Luther King was married to a white woman, does it diminish everything that Martin Luther King has said or everything Martin Luther King has done? Because that's essentially to me, that's the path that we're going down, to say who you married to determines what you do in life and how well you can do it because of who you married to, or who you choose to sleep with, or who you choose to lay down with, or your personal preference as it relates to your sexuality. Because if you're going to say that, then you can say, well, if you are with a black person or your significant other is black, but they light skinned, then you kind of diminishing the black experience. If your black mate is short, then, you need to have a tall black experience is different than a shorter black experience. it's like, where does it stop? Because if you're saying that one thing affects the other, then I would like to know how or where the line is drawn to where it doesn't. Because in that case, it all affects, I mean, even when you talk about personality, a person who's nice as opposed to a person who's mean affects you, as your mate affects you. So you can't effectively be productive in Black culture because your girlfriend is not nice. So therefore, you don't know how to be nice to Black people because your girlfriend ain't nice. That's how far down the rabbit hole you could essentially go with this, because if you're talking about what you do as a person and the person that you are attached to has an impact on that, then that would be just as well as a personal impact, the physical impact. If that's what you see physically, if that has an impact on it, then their personal, their behavior, all of that stuff has an impact. So then when do those come into play? Education. Oh, your girl ain't your girlfriend is Black, bro, and she dark skinned, but she didn't finish high school. So yeah, you really ain't a real good Black person. Your Black culture score is diminished by 32 points. You got a 78, 68 because of that. Yep, sorry. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I have that position on it, because if you're talking about it, you're talking about optics, that's one thing. But when you're talking about how it impacts the culture or how it makes you less than it within the culture, then now you got to take all those other characteristics into account. So.
Mic's on? Hear me? Here we go. Test. Good afternoon, NABJ, and welcome to a conversation with former President Donald Trump. This discussion continues a decades-long tradition during election years of inviting journalists to discuss the policies and their impact with the candidates who are running for president, and the impact of those policies, especially in Black communities. Former Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton have attended the NABJ conventions either as presidents or as presidential candidates in past years. NABJ is currently in conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris's team to schedule a Q&A either in person or virtually in September. As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact-check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media using the hashtag.
Hey, you know what? I got a question. Has a fact-checking source ever been proven to not be true? I just thought about that. Has there ever been a so-called fact-checking source that has been proven to not be factual as a source? So basically saying, whoever somebody say, this is who we use to verify fact check. Has it ever been proven that that fact checking source was not correct? I wonder. Just saying.
NABJ fact check. Again, the hashtag is NABJ fact check. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time. So let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
And here's the thing, too. It seemed like she didn't even want to shake this nigga's hand. Here's my thing. How can you have this much contention for a man you don't know and has not directly impacted your life. This is amazing. Look at her. Just watch this.
Hi, Mr. Trump. Rachel Scott, BBC. Thank you. How are you? Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
So this bitch starts out with a 6-point question. I don't know about you, but I would kind of say that's just totally, it's not about being like, it's not about asking a question. It's about how and why and the way you ask that question as to say, well, what type of conversation are we going to have? Who in the fuck opens up with a 6-point question? I don't see the point of that and why you would want to start out with something like that if you have the intention on having a conversation. And the only reason why you would do that is because essentially you want the smoke. You want to rub this candidate the wrong way. You want to trigger them. You want to overwhelm them with so many different things that it's a question that's so difficult to answer because it has 6 fucking points that you are going to just leave out certain things that are just going to get missed in the art of conversation. It's like if I read a question onto you and I got 10 points in it and I ask you to, how do you explain that? What are the odds of you, without having pen and paper, going through each one of those 10 items and answering them or explaining them throughout your response? And it's within a reasonable amount of time as far as the back and forth of dialogue between two people. It's literally impossible. Literally impossible for you to ask a 6-point question that you want someone to respond to. Now, if you want me to respond to a question, you would maybe keep it to 1, 2, no more than 3 points for us to have a dialogue about those questions. But if you just want to literally slam a bunch of shit on me or throw a bunch of shit up against the wall to see what's going to stick or what's going to get me upset or which one of those 6 items am I going to really try to hit and really be pissed off about, because then you'll know how you can trigger me. That's what you're doing. And that's what she was doing from the beginning. And I like the fact that Donald Trump, he didn't try to go, well, you know, I can answer that question and I can. I like the way that he literally called it out and just said like, damn, bitch, that was really like uncalled for and that was really nasty. It's just as if he would have responded and said, well, bitch, because you started off with that question like that, I don't really like it, so I ain't gonna answer it. Who next? Then motherfuckers be like, why are you so disrespectful? Why are you saying that disrespect the black woman like that? And it's like, this is the whole play that I see with the media time and time again that we as black folks don't want to call out. Every time there's somebody talking cash shit being disrespectful or just not having any, what is the word? Not having any type of tact in doing something. If you just want a motherfucker to be ignorant, fly off the handle, and give you some bullshit ass cliches, it's a black woman that's always being put out front to do it. And they seem to be happy to do so. You want a motherfucker to just come out and talk shit. Nothing fact-based or just be an asshole to this person. A black woman is the first one on the list. Talk shit, antagonize somebody, fuck with somebody, say something that's going to be, controversial and upsetting or whatever, and you don't want any backlash for it, get a black woman. Because if a white man started out an interview with a black woman that same exact way, they would say that that white person is racist. And the only reason he's talking to her like that because she a black woman. And people would be pissed off about it. She did the same thing, but the roles are reversed. She's the black woman and he's a white man. And I guess he just got to take it, huh? That's just what it is.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question.
And that's true as fuck. I like the way that he went right into it. Like, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. And it was, who the fuck starts out an interview with a 6-point question for someone to respond to? Who in the fuck does that? Damn it, I did not try to do that.
The choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFit former president. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you?
Exactly.
Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news
Called
network,
it out.
a terrible network. And I think it's...
And here's the thing. You can clearly hear these people cheering for his response. So it ain't like everybody there felt the way her motherfucking ass felt. Miss Scott felt. That's not the case. Miss Scott. See, Donald Trump wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Well, actually, he was. Like you was, Miss Scott. So it's like the fact that the crowd ain't egging this on, and the fact that he's responded like this and they're in support of him, it goes to show you how fucked up of a start she made.
It's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money, they were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here.
And here's the thing. He's now, and I like the fact that he did this. Okay, bitch, let's call a thing. All this bullshit because y'all doing nigga business that y'all said y'all ain't did. You motherfuckers started 35 minutes late. You motherfuckers told me my opponent would be here, and this motherfucker not. And the fact that I stayed for this ain't like this is the motherfucking Fox Town Hall. This ain't no fucking CNN Town Hall. This is the fucking NABJ or JB. BJ, I'm sorry. I haven't lit, and I'm just telling you, call me ignorant, call me out of touch. I don't give a fuck what you want to call me. I ain't never heard of this shit until Trump went on. So that goes to show you his ability to even make your shit more popular and the lack of respect you showing for this motherfucker who could have left. And if he had left, it would have been of no consequence to him or his kid. Donald Trump walked off of the NABJ convention. And they said, why did you not leave? Well, they started 35 minutes late. My opponent was supposed to be there. They didn't show. So I figured if my opponent wasn't there and the fact that y'all already late, I had other engagements. I couldn't wait around. I was supposed to give them an hour, and they were talking about starting 35 minutes late. It was a waste of time. It was a poorly planned event. So that's why I left. Would have made perfect fucking sense. All the reason in the world to leave, and he didn't. He stayed. And what's the first thing you do? Talk shit. And I'm telling you, I don't know what the fuck it is as to why so many black women love to just do this type of shit. Because whether if it's a white man, a black man, or whatever, they love to antagonize and talk cash shit about people. And that's fucked up to me. That's problematic to me when you are known for talking shit. Who the fuck wants to be around a person? Who the fuck wants to be around a group of people to where that's all they do? Talking shit and finding ways to be disrespectful. It's like a motherfucker who, it's like, how offensive is it for somebody you know to talk shit about you when you ain't around? And then how offensive is it for someone to talk shit about you and you don't even know them? It's like it's like it's worse than worser. It's like, goddamn. It's like you talking shit about me and you don't even fucking know me. It's the same as if you talking, it's even worse if you talking shit about me and you actually do. But the fact is, neither one of them should be getting done. It's like, why would you talk shit about and antagonize somebody that you don't even know? Just as well as you talking shit about somebody that you do know, but you won't say that shit to their face. It's like, who wants to be that motherfucker? And why would someone want to be that motherfucker? It's, to me, one of the most, I guess, not so much as disrespectful, but more so, I just lose a tremendous amount of respect for someone who will say something about someone else and not say it to their face. It's like, if I'll call you a hoe ass nigga behind your back, but I won't call you a hoe ass nigga to your face, then to me, who's really the hoe ass nigga? I'll call you a bitch behind your back, but I won't call you a bitch to your face. I literally don't respect motherfuckers that do that. It's like, if a motherfucker talking shit about somebody, you saying whatever the fuck you want to say about somebody, true or whatever the case may be, fine, but at least have the balls and be man enough or shit, even in this case, woman enough to say it to their face. And if you don't know a motherfucker, don't just start off talking shit to a motherfucker that you don't know, because it's a bad look on you as a person. It's a bad look for you as a person. It's just like when you were, it's so childish. It's like when you were in high school, how you don't like a motherfucker because he don't like a motherfucker. Or I don't like her, so we don't like her neither. We don't like her because you don't like her. It's like, that's the type of shit that these motherfuckers do. So many people do not like Donald Trump, and they have unwarranted reasons as to why they don't. They're literally just not liking him because she don't like him, he don't like him, they don't like him, this network don't like him, this person that's a celebrity don't like him, so I don't like him neither. And I literally just don't have respect for motherfuckers that carry themselves or move like that. And it's not a thing of me having to call it out, but you best believe if there's ever a situation to where it comes up, I'm definitely going to call it out.
You invited me under false pretense, and then you said you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working, or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love if you can answer the question on your rhetoric and why you believe that black voters should trust you with another 4 years.
I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your...
And to his point, bitch, you ain't even got your shit together. And you come out talking shit. You don't even have your shit together, and you start out talking shit. Who in the fuck does that? You would think that a person who ain't got their shit together had their guests waiting 35 minutes from the time they were supposed to start for a 1-hour interview. You would think that that person would be a lot more apologetic and a lot more agreeable with that person that they just tremendously inconvenienced. Tremendous inconvenience. Imagine if you going somewhere, you're taking time out of your schedule to go and talk to some motherfuckers, and they starting out 30 minutes late for whatever fucking reason. Fine. And if I decide to stay, that's my choice. But bitch, have some respect to where you ain't just coming out talking cash shit to me, and you really just fucked over my time and fucked over my schedule for me to have an interview with your ass. Calvin asked a great question. He said, why did Trump agree to do this? Because he don't give a fuck and he ain't scared of these motherfuckers. He literally like, I'm not scared of these motherfuckers. I'll come out here and talk to their ass. I'll talk to anybody like he did in his campaign. That's just what it is. He like, fuck that. Yeah, I'll do it. I'm not scared.
Your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American.
She definitely wouldn't do that. And in my opinion, she should have started out with that. She should have started out with, hey, everyone, before we get started, I just wanted to apologize. We had technical difficulties. We are starting 30 minutes behind. I truly apologize to you. I apologize to you, Mr. President. That's not how we normally function. However, these things were totally unavoidable and we couldn't get it fixed until now. Thank you for staying. Let's go ahead with the interview, but I wanted to make sure I apologize to everyone else in respect to everyone else's time. Nope. Ain't gonna do that.
American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that?
She didn't even understand what he's asking her. He said, define it. He didn't say, tell me what the fuck it stands for. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, can you define that? What do you mean when you, and this is what he's saying, Miss Scott. What are you saying when you said being diverse? Being diverse, how? What are you saying when you saying having equity? Having equity, how? What do you mean when you say inclusion? Being included, how? Can you define that? Yes, you're telling me what it stands for. Like, here's the thing. What does EMS stand for? Emergency Medical Services. Okay, can you define that? Yes. In an emergency, it is a team that responds with medical services, medical care to the people that they serve, which in this case would be the public. So an ambulance that comes from the firehouse or a fire truck that comes to actually give someone emergency medical attention, that is what we would call a person who works for EMS. So I told you what it stood for, but I also told you what it is and what it does. And that's what he's asking her. And she can't answer it because she's a fucking puppet. And she think that she don't have to know shit. She just got to talk shit. That's the problem. And it's so many black people, more so and especially black women, that think that that shit is okay. I ain't got to know nothing. I said what I said. It is what it is. Right. You stupid bitch. But when somebody asks you to actually define what the fuck you saying, you can't never do it. Explain to me what that is. That's just like a motherfucker telling you, yeah, this is on fleek. Can you define fleek? Fleek, motherfucker. My rims is flicking. Can you define flicking? They flicking, nigga. Fuck you talking about? She's that stupid to where she didn't even understand what he was asking her. And once she, I think, realized it, she didn't know. She tried to do what? Like most black motherfuckers do? Gloss over the shit and keep going to something else to fuck with you about.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris
You did.
is only on
She
the
did.
ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly.
Wow.
Directly, very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
And that's the truth. Sheila Jackson ain't never had to say, oh, well, you know, I'm part Samoan and I'm part in. She black. And that's the whole thing. When you black, you're black. And if somebody tries to put you outside of that, black people that are truly black be the first motherfuckers to say it. They're the first motherfuckers to say it. First up. Hold on, motherfucker. Yeah, I got some Asian in my family. Yeah, I got some Indian in my family. But I'm black.
So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
And that's not true. She has not always identified as a Black woman. She has literally said that she is a woman of color. When she won for state's attorney, or did she prosecuting attorney or state's attorney? She was the AG, the attorney general. I'm sorry. When she was the AG, she literally was, they put up first Hindu American or some shit like that has won. She did not say, I'm Black. She never said that shit until she ran in 2020 and when she's running again now. And even you can clearly see the footage for the fact checkers out there. You can clearly see the footage of the show when she went on that cooking show with that Hindu lady. And she said, oh, I'm Hindu. Yes, I know about all this food. My dad's Jamaican, but my mom is Hindu. Not my dad is Black. My dad is Jamaican. Do you see how that shit works? She would have been like, yeah, my daddy Black. Motherfucker, ain't nobody trying to say, oh, my mom's Jamaican. Nope, that means you trying not to say that they are just straight up Black. No. That's why you're acknowledging, oh, yeah, my mom's Trinidadian. Okay, great. Then say that. That's the game you gonna play. That's the side of the fence you gonna be on. Fine. But don't try to just come and say, well, you know, that's really Black. Nope. Nope. It don't work like that, especially in politics.
Respect either one. I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't. Because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that
I think somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are.
And here's the thing. He's being nice because you can say, yes. Here's why. For you fact checkers, Joe Biden specifically said he was going to be the first president to have the most diverse administration ever, which is part of the reason why he said he wanted Kamala Harris. He is having Kamala Harris be his vice president. He said it. He wanted to be diverse when it came to color and when it came to gender. He wanted to be the most diverse. He said it himself.
Some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well,
interview.
You told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from...
Do you see the difference in the question? Do you see the difference in the question? Do you see the difference in the tone? Do you see the difference in the points in the question? Was it 6 points in that fucking question? No.
Invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are Black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking Black jobs. You had the best.
And here's the thing. Why is it that motherfucking niggas can say the Mexican jobs, but white folks can't say these are Black jobs? I'll wait. Why is it that niggas can say what Mexican jobs are, but white people can't say what black jobs are? And it's not an offensive thing. It's just saying, you know that there are jobs that black people work. There are jobs that black people have. He's saying black jobs as opposed to saying jobs that blacks can get. That's just what it is. Blacks are not at the top of white collar jobs. Black are not at the top of the financial market. Blacks are not at the top of the corporate upper echelon of corporate America. They're not. That's just the reality of it. And when he's talking about laborer jobs, yes, immigrants are taking those jobs. So when you have a black person that paints and a Mexican person that paints that happens to be an illegal alien, that illegal alien is going to do that job that a black person could have way cheaper for far less money than what the black person does. Drywall, labor jobs, demolition. That's what he means. So it's like, why would we act like that's a bad thing when it's just a factual thing? So Amanda said, what would a black job be? It's pretty, when you're talking about like black jobs, you're talking about jobs or in general. That's what I should say. In general, because you can have any motherfucking job that's out there. But in general, when you're talking about the jobs that black people usually have, you're talking about blue collar laborer type of jobs. There is not a swell of black folks at the top of fucking Silicon Valley. It's just not. But you take your ass to Michigan and go to a fucking auto parts maker factory, you're going to see a lot of niggas working at Gentex. It's white folks and Hispanics working there too, but you're going to see a lot of niggas working at Gentex. That's just what it is. So that's what a motherfucker's saying. So when you talking about black jobs, those are jobs that blacks would have. In general, we're not saying that those are the only jobs black have, but in general, what jobs do blacks have? They are blue collar laborer type jobs. Cashier, cleaning lady, janitor, lunchroom lady, fast food joints. TSA, UPS, right? That's just what it is. I work at GM, Ford. You got way more blacks working at Ford that are on the manufacturing side of things as opposed to being on the corporate side of things. That's just what that is. And it's not a bad thing, but that's just the reality of it. How many blacks have started and are currently running a top 100 Fortune 100 companies in America? That's just how it is.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, and they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border.
Great point. K. Jordan said, what gets me is black folks let Joe Biden slide and give him a pass on what he said and then done to our detriment, but nitpick everything Trump says. Nothing but fucking facts.
What you say now, Chuck? And that's a for sure right on.
That ain't nothing but the truth. Joe Biden can say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Don't nobody say shit. Joe Biden can go eulogize a fucking Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. I'm sorry. He didn't eulogize the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. Let me get my facts straight. Obama did. But Joe Biden says that Robert Byrd, the fucking, who was a Grand Wizard in the Ku Klux Klan, was his mentor. Joe Biden, who's responsible for promoting and getting the 1994 crime bill signed, which is responsible for locking up the most niggas since slavery. Give him a pass for that too. Donald Trump says black jobs, and we hit him with the beatbox. What are black jobs, sir?
Gotcha, bitch.
Just saying.
So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
True.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts. And this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically.
Yeah.
How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, this woman...
So, and here's my thing. Is he being petty right now? Yes. And he has a right to, because of the shit that Petty LaBelle started out with. So why wouldn't I take a shot at this shit? This whack-ass equipment. This bullshit-ass motherfucking setup y'all got going on. Y'all motherfuckers had me waiting for 35 minutes. I'm the fucking 45th president of the United States, motherfucker. And then you coming out here talking shit as opposed to being motherfucking respectful. You gonna come out here talking shit? All right, fine, gloves off. Let me talk as much shit as I possibly can. I would do the same shit.
I was unable to get the right equipment, but it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation.
He says, what media or network will call out Biden's statements? It's only fair if they're doing it to Trump. That's the whole thing. The media is bought and paid for, and they are with the shit. There is no more media integrity. They are literally playing the game because they are with the agenda. And that's why they're playing this part. And it's not just the media, it's the media and the celebrities. They are all with the shit. The fix is in. They on the same team where they can keep themselves rich and keep everybody else fucking poor. That's why these celebrities are in it, because they want to keep getting the bag, or they want the opportunity to get a bag. And that's why they're willing to say whatever and toe the line for the left to perpetuate and to further promote the bullshit that they're on, which is what did that person said, that they're trying to destroy the middle class. What Lone Wolf Annie said, they really want to get rid of the middle class. They want air. So everybody that is making enough money where they're above the poverty line. What is the poverty line? Is it $24,000? I think that's what it is. If you're making $24,000 or less than $24,000, then you're below the poverty line. Anybody that is above that, and they are not upwards of $200,000, you are considered middle class. And they want to make you and make it so that you are living like the people that are below the poverty line. They want to make it to where it's not 3, maybe 4 classes. It's just 2. You either got it or you don't. You have it or you don't, which is why I always talk about the haves and the have-nots. They don't want no middle. They don't want no gray. They want it black and white. You either broke as fuck or you rich as fuck. That's it.
Is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or more.
So what do you do?
Than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started.
So this is, and that is one of the first things that need to happen. We're just trying to correct the inflation that's going on, to make shit more affordable. All this shit getting turned around with the economy. That is the first thing. Energy has to go down. That means fucking fuel, oil. That means gas, natural gas, electricity. All that shit has to go down to where we are energy dominant. We are not just energy independent, but we are energy dominant. So we need to be selling our oil. We need to have it to where gas is so cheap that the cost of fuel for not just you as a person that drive back and forth to work, but the cost of fuel for trucking companies, the cost of fuel for the diesel engines and the diesel locomotives, the cost of fuel for airplanes. All that shit is impacted by the price of oil and the cost of fuel. Using shit like coal instead of fucking windmills. All of that shit goes into the cost of energy. What it costs for me to heat up the place or to cool the place where I house, I'm Tyson's Food, the place where I house the chickens to give y'all chicken, what it costs for me to actually heat and cool those big ass fucking barns and shit that got the chickens in it, that costs doesn't get absorbed by Tyson chicken. It gets passed on to you. So that's why a pack of chicken wings went from being $8 a pack to now it's $16 a pack, because it costs me more from an energy perspective to keep those chickens in the barns temperature at the appropriate level, because they went up on the price of energy and they stopped us from having our own energy source, and they made us more dependent on solar power and all that other bullshit that we can't afford because we just can't maintain it yet, because we have not advanced enough to be able to use it yet. Y'all do realize that, like, the Tesla plant that is supposed to be, oh, it has all of this solar stuff. That shit is tapped into the regular motherfucking coal-operated grid. That's just what that is.
With a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls. And then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight, a prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing what you say, let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same, because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes, ma'am.
So this is the part that people, especially on the left and Democrats, don't acknowledge. Like, y'all do know that this motherfucker's the reason why inflation is so high. Not COVID. It's motherfucking biting it. Their administrations are the ones that closed, like they said in the chat, the Keystone Pipeline. Their administration is the one that shut down fracking. Their administration is the one that started to keep us from selling oil to where they made our country start buying oil from other motherfuckers. Why the fuck would you do that? Why in the fuck would we go? Just think about that. As a country, why would we go and buy oil from another place when we got oil in our own goddamn backyard? That shit makes no fucking sense. Unless it's benefiting a smaller group that's getting paid on the back end or on the side end or on the other cover table, under the table, whatever the case may be. It's stupid. And it's detrimental to our country to where we got to buy oil from fucking Iran, or we got to buy oil from fucking the Middle East or Tel Aviv, wherever the fuck they got it at, and we got it in our backyard. That's just like you have a garden and you got fucking peppers and tomatoes and shit growing in your backyard right now that you can go and actually see and look and go and pick. And you take your ass to Kroger and go and buy you the same exact shit that's growing in your backyard. That's how stupid that is. And anybody that's supporting a party that is with that shit, I'm going to consider you stupid. Sorry. Hate to be offensive, but that's what it is.
President, can I ask you another question that is also impacting Black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed Black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but
He said, why didn't I say Jules? I've been gone too long. I've been gone too long, man. But here's the thing with this whole immunity thing. And I don't know why motherfuckers are trying. Well, I do know why. But here's the thing with immunity. He is not saying that he's just giving them immunity. He's talking about qualified immunity. And simply put, all that means is police officers who have some type of shooting or whatever the case may be, somebody dies, and they are doing it within the normal functions and duties of their job. Those people would have qualified immunity like they do for the most part now, and they won't be prosecuted. The other part to that is just because you have a police officer that you have qualified immunity, that means it has to be, I know this is going to be hard to believe, but qualified. That means that you can't just walk up and down the street and just kill a black person, say, kill my nigga for the day, and that's it. Lock him up. I have qualified immunity. Anything that you do that results in the life loss or the great bodily harm of somebody, of an individual outside of your normal standard police duties, your ass will get prosecuted and will go to jail just like any other motherfucker. That's all it is. He's just saying qualified immunity so that every single time a police officer is doing their job and somebody does lose their life, it's not a thing where that motherfucker has to go and buy a lawyer and be on a trial for his fucking life every time he does his actual job. And I don't understand why niggas are so fucking against this and harping on this shit, because here's the other thing. Is there any doctors that are going to jail for killing people? Nope. I'm a doctor and I fuck up and I cut on something on the operating table and your ass die. Do I go to jail? Nope. Here's the other thing. Yeah, but you can sue them, though. Yeah, they can sue, but it's actually been capped. I can't even sue a doctor for fucking $5 million on some shit where they botched the surgery. It's a cap. I want to say it's either something like $150,000 or $200,000 or $250,000, and that's it. Can't get no more than that. You can't sue over that. They literally have a set limit on how much you can sue a motherfucking doctor for. So we can protect doctors, but we can't protect police officers. The motherfuckers that we call to come on site and deal with fill in the blank. No.
I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police unions are
so
not.
So he's bringing it up because he's saying across the board, he wants to pass a law and he wants to put it into law to where it's like that, period, as federal law, to where you can't do it. That's what he's talking about doing. Like having a universal concealed carry or universal constitutional carry amendment, not amendment, but law that goes across all states, where I can have my gun in fucking Chicago, and I can have my gun in fucking Utah, and I can have my gun in New York, Rhode Island, and all them other motherfucking handful of states that are still not with the 2A shit because it goes against the Constitution. So that's why he wants to make a law to where it is across the country, where just like how your driver's license works in every state, so should your right to carry and bear arms.
Attacking this person either.
Okay.
But again, why would...
Are they going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean,
he just said exactly, because she doesn't even understand what it is. And here's what's so problematic about this. It's not that she's asking a question. It's the fact that she's a fucking journalist and she's asking that question and she doesn't know what exactly qualified immunity or immunity is. She doesn't fucking stand it. And that, to me, as a journalist, that means you didn't do your homework. And you should know what you're asking a person and understand the definition of what it is that you're questioning for this president, for your interviewee. You should know that. So she should already have a clear understanding on what qualified immunity is and shouldn't be bringing it up as just immunity and making it seem like, yeah, you just want to give immunity to all police officers. They can kill and do whatever they want to anybody. That's not what he's saying. He's never said that. And that's why he's saying here, where it depends on what it is. I haven't looked at it, but I've heard about it. It has to be looked at. That's all. But what do? We blow the shit way out of proportion.
What happens? I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Yep. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between...
Which happens. I know that people got this idea that police officers can never fuck up and can never do anything wrong and can never make a simple fucking mistake, but it happens. And if you got a problem with that, put a jersey on.
Being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine an innocent mistake?
You go after somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And you know, they have, the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a, you know, life and death decision. And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. You know, I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system.
Exactly.
I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case.
And here's the thing with that. He's being prosecuted for some shit that people have never been prosecuted before. I mean, prosecuted for before. That's why he's saying what he's saying. It's like, when you've been prosecuted, you talking about prosecuting. Yeah, if ain't nobody ever prosecuted a motherfucker or tried to give a motherfucker jail time for spitting on the ground, and now all of a sudden I'm in court for spitting on the ground, wouldn't you have some shit to say, not just about the system, but about the motherfucking prosecuting attorney for that system? Yes. Who the fuck gets prosecuted for spitting on the ground?
In Florida, everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case. And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act.
Damn, Lasher said the reason why we doing that is that we need to use up everybody else's oil first. And we have our stocked up and everyone else's assed out. Lasher, I would agree with you right now and change my whole stance on it if you could tell me how much oil we got and how long it'll take for us to use it all, which I know your ass can't. Because you don't even know what our supply is like. And by the time we could use it all up, motherfucker, we could have a whole nother source like water or like fucking electric cars to where whenever we do finally deplete it, we would still be able to be independent to where we have our own energy source when it comes to fuel.
Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time, and he had 50 years worth of documents, and they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President.
Great point. Boom, baby. He's incompetent to stand trial, but he's competent to be the president. You tell me how and where that is even logical or even humanly possible to say that someone can't stand trial, but they can run the fucking country. Oh, this person's not competent enough to actually stand trial, but we gonna let this motherfucker have the fucking launch codes. Like, really? No way.
But they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
Nope.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to different topics.
I didn't see shit about it. It came across on a news feed on my phone, and that was it. Had they found this motherfucker guilty, oh man, it'd be so many special guests, so many special segments, so many special shows, so many specials that we wouldn't be able to even turn this shit off. His ass would have been on TV more than OJ was.
You do any publicity on it at all? I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
Excuse you, you're the one that held me up at 35 minutes, just so you understand.
Boom! Like, bitch, really? Oh, so I'll go come on your show. You gonna be 35 minutes late, and then you only gonna talk about what you want to talk about, and I don't get to say anything about what I want to talk about. Oh, okay. So you just want me to sit here and just look stupid then and not say nothing.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few.
Yes, Rulia says I've heard we have oil for at least few hundred years. And by then we'd have another source of energy that is reliable. Correctamundo. That is correct. Shout out to Boom at story 1122. Correct. Correct. If we have enough oil to where literally we got a couple of hundred years, not to mention just the overall efficiency of cars and using gas, using oil, not the overall efficiency of what would transpire over the years with how technology will make our vehicles more efficient. Damn that aside, just where we at today, we can have oil, or we got enough oil for at least a couple hundred years. The Saudis have way more oil than us, and they know, and the U.S. government knows it, which is why it is the plan that has been in the works. Let me tell you something, Lasher. If in the event we used up all our oil tomorrow and we ain't got no more, I mean, all the oil gone, and the only place that there was oil was in Saudi Arabia. As a grown adult living in America, what do you think the United States would ultimately do? All the oil gone, and the only oil that's left in the world, Craig, the world, is in Saudi Arabia. What do you think the United States of America would do? And this nigga comes up with question marks. But I know who's got the answer. Amanda K. We would take over Saudi Arabia. Correct. Correct. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Tell him what he's won, Bob. You've won a new car. We would go and take that shit, nigga. Saudi Arabia ain't got no goddamn guns. They ain't got no fucking army. But they got about 30 motherfuckers with some AKs over there. All gold. They got gold and platinum AKs over there because they got so much goddamn money. That's it. Saudi Arabia ain't got shit compared to motherfucking America, nigga. We about to build an iron dome, nigga. We take that shit over. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. And we either do it one or two ways. We say, hey, man, look. Either we gonna come over there with this business and give you this work and take this shit from you. Or we could just come over here and you could just let us have it. And we'll give you a small nominal finder's fee for it. But either way, my man, we gonna get this oil. This oil that's over here in your land is now gonna be our oil that's coming over into our land. Now you can either do this. This is what we're gonna say. This is exactly what we're gonna say. We're gonna say, look here, Saudi Arabia, I like you and I want you. We can either do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way. And then once we use up all the oil in Saudi Arabia, we're going to go knock on Venezuela dirty, nasty oil ass and look like, hey, look here, Venezuela. Hey, look here, baby. I like you, want you. You can either do this the easy way or you can do this the hard way. That's just what we going to do. That's just what it is. That is who we are. And we got the guns and the bodies to prove it. If Obama and them could drone strike some kids in a goddamn school, what the fuck you think we gonna do about some oil and we ain't got none? Yep, I said none. Then you don't know none? That take the oil like me, that slap the country like me, that get the shit like me, now you don't know none. That come take your oil. Man, please.
Things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this.
Here's my thing. Say what you want. In general, I would not want someone who doesn't have children making decisions on a level like that about those people who do. That makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. I'm just saying, there's no way that you can tell me that a motherfucker who ain't got kids, ain't never had kids, is gonna be able to tell you what you need to do and how you need to raise your kids, coming up with programs to nurture your kid. I don't give a fuck. There's no way that you're gonna tell me that. Nope. A motherfucker who got kids and has experienced having children, I can tell you flat out that I'm a different person from how I viewed parenting and all that shit from me having my own kids and not having my own kids. And you talk about somebody who coached and was around kids for over 20 years in Little League Baseball. It was different from me coaching those kids and me having my own. Period. Way different. Being an educator, being in the school system. I was an instructional school assistant. I was an instructional teacher's assistant for 3-4 years. It's different. Teaching somebody else's kid and having your own, it's fucking different. That's just how that shit goes. So ain't no motherfucker. I mean, I get that y'all may be offended by that, cat ladies, but it is fucking different. Just like a woman who has prided herself on being a housewife and a stay-at-home mom versus a woman who has prided herself on being in a corporate executive. Two different philosophies. Can this one over here tell me how to motherfucking diversify my portfolio? Probably. Versus the motherfucker who's a stay-at-home mom? Maybe not as well. Sorry. Could the stay-at-home mom help me craft a business email better than the motherfucker that's working at the Fortune 500 company executive? Probably not. Not saying you can't, but she's definitely probably going to be better. Chances are she's going to be way better at it because that's what she does. A person who fixes computer and a person who's an actual certified computer technician, can you say that one's better than the other one? Possibly, but I'm probably going to take the motherfucker who actually has the experience and has been taught this as opposed to somebody who just been fucking around and finding out for the past few years. He said, Brian, you took my statement the wrong way. Well, further articulate it, man. That's fine. Re-articulate yourself. Childless cat ladies are just that. You can't, I don't want nobody who ain't never had no kids and ain't got shit but a bunch of fucking cats telling me how to raise my children. No. Sorry. Sorry. I don't want some trans or homosexual male trying to tell me how to raise my son. Trying to tell me how to raise my daughter. Sorry, I don't. I can do it better myself. Plain and simple. Well, you just gotta love them no matter what. Yeah, I hear you. It's more to it than that. Life ain't just about loving them no matter what. And that's the reality that some people don't want to face and acknowledge. When you literally have people who intentionally don't want to have children because they know what it takes and they don't want to make the sacrifice to do that, which is totally fine. I truly believe everybody ain't meant to have kids. And for those that don't want to and choose not to procreate, more power to you. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad person, but it damn sure don't make you an expert on mine. My family values, my family structure, and how I raise my children. Sorry, cat lady.
He is very family oriented, and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your campaign
I think
position?
I'm speaking for him, too. He strongly believes in family. But I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him, actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family-oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
And here's my thing. I'm gonna wrap it up pretty much here because this is pretty much all I want to talk about, just that beginning part. Let me put this up here. Is that it? Yes. Calvin just gave me the perfect segue is that how to wrap this up. He says, Brian, they never asked Trump what will, I guess, he do to help black folks or the border. And you know why? I can tell you why they didn't, and why they don't. Because they honestly, these people that are on this side, on the left, the Democrats, they don't give a fuck about black folks. They don't give a fuck about the border, and they don't give a fuck about helping black folks. Because the people that are on that side, the media, the bourgeois, upper echelon blacks, and just the Democrats that are in power in general, they don't give a fuck about none of that shit. That's why they talk shit as opposed to actually coming up with solutions. They don't even have a fucking agenda to get shit back on track because they don't think things are off track. They're just the way that they want them. And that's why when a motherfucker that's on the other side or the left or whatever you want to call it gets to interview Donald Trump, all they try to do is try to talk about negative shit and make everything that he said or someone in his organization have said, whether he said it 2 days ago or 20 years ago, they want to twist it to where it's a point of contention and argument to say that he's a bad person, period. That's all they're trying to do is they're trying to assassinate his character at every turn. That's it. And the fact that the people that are struggling, that are Democrats, I get it for you rich Democrat motherfuckers. I get it. Because you want to keep the same game in play because you benefit from the game. But you motherfuckers that ain't rich, you motherfuckers that's broke as fuck, paying all this money for fucking gas, food, eggs, bacon, and all this shit, like me, can't afford a fucking steak because it's just too goddamn high. You the stupid motherfuckers because y'all helping these motherfuckers toe the line to keep you on your fucking knees begging for scraps. And it's stupid. It's stupid, it's embarrassing, and it's shameful to see our people who ain't got shit supporting the motherfuckers who are the reason why they ain't got shit. And I ain't talking about having things. I'm talking about opportunities. These motherfuckers would rather give you some, I'll give you $500. Fuck $500. Give me a fucking opportunity. Make it to where I got a fair shot to make it one way or the other, and I'm good with that. I don't need you to give me no fucking handout. I just need you to get the fuck out my way and let me do my thing. Because if I do it that way and let nature take its course, I would have earned what I have. That's it. Earning some shit and working for some shit will take you much further in life and will give you much more of a sense of accomplishment and purpose than anything else that somebody can just give you barely enough to fucking get by. Just saying. That's all I'm saying. And if you start looking at things like that, that would make us all better thinkers, which would then make us better people because we would select our political candidates in a much better manner. Because yes, these motherfuckers ain't perfect, but what motherfucker is? Why would you have an expectation to have a perfect government, a perfect politician, a perfect political process? Why would you have that expectation when you're not living in a perfect world? It's flawed, and it's going to be flawed. You can improve it, and you can make it better, but it will never be perfect. strive for making it better and improving it, as opposed to it got to be perfect. It got to be right for everybody. There's nothing on this planet that is equal for everyone. Never have been, and it never will be. So stop saying that. Stop saying it got to be equal for everyone. Got to be equal this and equal that. We all got to have an equal opportunity. I just need an opportunity. That's all. That's all. And an equal opportunity means, hey, capitalism. An equal opportunity means, hey, less restrictions. An equal opportunity means, hey, less taxes. An equal opportunity means more than anything else, less government, bureaucracy, and red tape. That's all I'm saying. It should mean, if we really talking about having an equal opportunity where anybody can come here and make it, and we don't have to worry about this or worry about that, being discriminated against, being this, being held back. All you need to do is get the government out your way and build your own shit. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Build your own, and you ain't got to worry about nobody treating you right. Build your own, and you ain't got to worry about nobody giving you your fair and equal portion. Build your own shit, and you ain't got to worry about nobody cheating you out of a goddamn thing. You damn sure right about that, energetic giraffes. Click that like button and share. That's all I'm saying. Put yourself in a position to where you can win, and that's how you win. Not hoping that somebody give it to you. Not hoping that somebody be right and do what's right to you because they owe you. Don't nobody owe you shit. I don't give a fuck what happened to you in life. Life ain't fair. Get over it and get what you can out of it. Yes, every election is important, but we're at a turning point as a society with this election, Calvin. There's a lot of things riding on this, and just with this particular election, because of the progression of the laws, the changes in the laws, if we don't make that change now to right the ship, we're going to be doomed to hit an iceberg, bro. So we're sailing along, we're navigating through the seas of life and the different waters of the world, but there is a crash course that we've been set on by the deep state, whatever you want to call it, the Biden administration, whatever you want to call it. We've been set on this collision course to where you have those people that are in these really high places trying to literally destroy what America is and is standing for today in the past, generation. They're trying to destroy that. And they put us on a collision course with a fucking iceberg. And if we don't start to right the ship now and to start to steer over and to steer out of it, we're going to be doomed to hit that iceberg. And we're going to be like Venezuela, where it's going to be a bunch of motherfuckers begging for food to eat. And we don't have no guns to even go get it from our government that's taking it all and keeping it all for themselves while they're living high on the hog. And the majority, 90% of the people are living on their fucking hands and knees. And the minute we complain about it, they're going to turn our own military that we help pay for. They're going to turn that military against us to shoot and kill us in the streets because we got something to say about it. That's why this election is so important. We have too many freedoms at stake for this election. We have too many things as far as our economy that's at stake for this election. We have too many things that are at stake when it comes to immigration and the safety of our communities and America as a whole in this election. That's what's at stake, bro. The security of our border, the security of our neighborhoods, the security of our community, the economy, what it costs for us to live and to be able to buy the things that we want to buy and to be able to afford those things. That's what's at stake. So yes, this one is a little bit more important than others before it because that's what's at stake here. Because if we don't get the Dark Knight in office, because he's definitely the hero we deserve, if we don't, then it's going to be a lot more shit that's going to come and fuck us over and fuck us up. I promise you that. They're going to go full speed ahead with the fuck shit that's going to be used to cripple us to where we will own nothing, we will have nothing, and we'll be happy for it. They meant that shit when they said it at the WEC. You will own nothing and you will like it. You will love it. That's why you ain't buying movies no more. You're streaming them. You own nothing. That's why they had houses are so fucking overpriced to where you can barely afford them. Most people can't afford them because they want you to do what? Rent. If you ain't owning, you're renting. It ain't yours. When you die and you gone, you ain't leaving shit to nobody. It's going to be somebody else to come in there and rent and live in it until they dead. You will own nothing. That's why everything is subscription based. Everything is rent this, rent to have that. That's what it is. So that's the kind of shit that they want to do, because the more I have you dependent on my systems, the more I have you dependent on my government, the more I have you dependent on me, the more I get to control you and give you what it is I want you to have. That's the truth. And that's where we're headed if we don't get out and vote. If you want to convey anything to these other your friends and shit that just don't like Dr. Trump because he's racist, you need to convey that message to them. Just saying. But when BlackRock is buying all the politicians, what they gonna do? Right. We live, they sleep. That's exactly what they own. Yep. I want to thank everybody for tuning into tonight's show. I'm so glad to be able to brought this show to you guys. Had some technical difficulties the other day, and just life was lifing and why I couldn't do it, but I'm glad I did. Finally got to do it. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for just being the faithful people that you all have been and just watching me. Y'all ain't got to watch my black ass, but y'all do. Y'all continue to tune in. You continue to comment and engage with me with conversation. And I appreciate each and every last one of you guys for it. Good, bad, and indifferent. Whether you agree with me or if you don't, I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I love y'all. And until next time, peace. And I'm out.